For a minute, though, we are going to change gears and talk about what everybody else is talking about in the rest of the world. It has been called a bottom-up revolution, a Wall Street freakout, a chance to stick it to the man. But today, did the dream turn into a nightmare for some people? An uproar is uniting Ted Cruz and AOC, sort of. We're talking, of course, stock squeezing, GameStop, and Wall Street now deciding to come back and say, wait a minute, not so fast. Here's some background. A group of Redditors drove up the price of GameStop after it was shorted by hedge funds. The group called Wall Street Bets made the once shaky stock value explode. Retail investors set their sights on others, including AMC, Bed Bath & Beyond, Naked Juices, and more. Robert counts himself as one of them, full disclosure. But it all came crashing down today, kind of. Trading firms restricted trades. One called Robinhood put the kibosh on it. Now the possibility of congressional hearings, regulations. Is there going to be criminal charges? Here to break it down, Dan, CPA and friend of the show, Dan Gastine. Thanks, Dan.
How was that analysis, Dan? Did we break it down well enough to get you going on the segment?
Yeah, I think so. And I got to give credit to the 5 Live team for being in front of this, right? You guys had me on yesterday and we discussed it before all this happened. So I think you guys are doing a good job there.
Yes, Dan, I don't want us to spend too much of the show patting ourselves on the back, but
take a second.
At least enjoy it for right now. I want to ask you, Robinhood is the trading platform that really a lot of these retail traders, so they've been called, these Redditors, have been using because it was basically free trades. You could just place trades, sell stock real quickly. They were joined by TD Ameritrade and Schwab in banning the purchase of these so-called squeezed stocks. They've since walked that back a bit after hours GameStop has popped back up, but it really sent stocks just in a free fall today. It was a lot to process. Banning regular people from buying stocks is crazy. Companies say it's because of the volatility. It's too risky, but isn't that the point of the stock market, Dan?
Yeah, I think, again, they have to kind of play by the rules, but also try to keep their clients happy, right? And their clients are their customers. And so they're enabling free trading, as you mentioned, right? It's an app, so it's very popular with millennials. You can find it on your phone, it's free. But they also have, by the way this goes, picked up all of the new volume. And so we're seeing like record volumes in the stock market, record trading activity. And a lot of it's happening, especially lately, in some of these names like GameStop and some of the other heavily shorted names by hedge funds. You're seeing owned in these retail investor accounts, and a lot of those accounts exist on Robinhood. And now they're finding out or being told that they couldn't hit the buy button anymore today, and I'm sure that's frustrating on as a retail individual investor.
But beyond frustrating, I've heard some people say, well, look, these guys are retail investors. These guys don't necessarily know what they're doing. This is not their day-to-day jobs. And as the controller of the app, the owner, what have you, it's their responsibility to look out for these people who are ordinary people. But that's BS. It's like saying the government, we have to depend on the government to pay our bills and to take care of us. It's like, no, we depend on ourselves. That's the way it's always been. That's the American way. And for them to come in and try to stop that and say, well, look, we're actually looking out for you. It's too volatile, and you don't know what you're doing. But these hedge funds do, and they're losing money right now. So we're gonna stop you from letting you buy in order for them to save their butts. I think that's outrageous. I think that's nuts.
Yeah, and I think that's how it feels right now to many individual investors. However, I will say I think there's a bigger factor at play here for Robinhood. And we're hearing, reports today that they had to draw down several $100 million on their credit lines, right? And this isn't the first time this has happened when market volatility has picked up. They were doing the very similar thing last March, when the COVID-19 pandemic first got going and markets really tanked and rolled over. They had to do the exact same thing. And so they seem to have not planned for kind of the worst case scenarios happening at high volumes and people using a lot of leverage. And then when it happens again, it seems like they have to stop it.
Right. Well, Dan, can you help us clarify? Because I'm kind of hearing two different things. So Robert is saying something that a lot of people on the internet are saying, which is that this is corporate America. This is the billionaires. This is the hedge fund managers putting the pressure on apps like Robinhood and TD Ameritrade and these other trading platforms and saying, stop this. and Robinhood essentially saying, okay, is that a conspiracy? Is that true? Or is this sort of what you're saying? It sounds like maybe this is just because there's actually just too much volume.
Yeah, I think there's more to it than that. Both the hedge funds, Citadel explicitly, and also the trading platforms, not just Robinhood, even though we're only talking about Robinhood, not just Robinhood, have come out and said that there has been that communication line is not happening. It doesn't exist. They've not talked to each other about this decision. That these different ones, different brokers. So Robinhood, there's another one called Interactive Brokers. TD Ameritrade might have, I think I heard, did the same thing today. And there's not that coordination. That's what they're saying. That was not a direction that was given to them by hedge fund. That's really not how it works. What they're saying is they had their firm to worry about. They had Robinhood and the existence of Robinhood to kind of worry about. And, what that meant to them was just capital requirements and essentially,
well, that's no fun. That's a lot less interesting than things like Dave Portnoy said, but more than
I was watching Portnoy's reaction to this when it got deleted.
Oh, he's very
he was in the middle of talking, and then it went to a weird, it looked like my jacket. It just kind of fuzzed out. But Dan, Ted Cruz and AOC, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Senator Ted Cruz do not often agree. But in this case, they do, both coming to the defense of the little guy here and the Reddit investors. Ben Shapiro even called this block and trading a hammer on free markets. You mentioned Dave Portnoy, the president of Barstool Sports. He called it a crime that should be punishable by prison. AOC wants to open that federal investigation. Do you think this will lead to, and do you think it's necessary if there should be more federal oversight?
I think it has already started the conversation, right? You're mentioned already senators that are discussing this. And so I think there does need to be a discussion about the plumbing of the financial system. Some of the things that are happening, there's a lot of interconnected players, right? Citadel has many subsidiaries, and some of them do business with Robinhood. And so they do business many other places as well. So I think you do need to shed a lot of light on the plumbing of the financial system so that everyone understands what exactly is going on. Did Robinhood do this, in coordination with a hedge fund, or did they do this because they're applying or trying to prevent any issues from happening to their firm, and having to comply with the rules that have been laid forth for their firm to exist?
Right, because this is now at a point where people are really buying into the narrative of us versus them. This is like class warfare now in this sort of like online trading platform. And they look at the hypocrisy, so they say, with Robinhood, whose literal Twitter bio is the democratization of trading.
Oh, look at big tech at it again.
And people went to the headquarters of Robinhood today in Menlo Park to protest, to stand out there and be like, power to the people, free GameStop.
Free GameStop.
Is it new to see class warfare in represented, I guess, in day trading?
I think it could feel like it's new. I think there's a lot of more players in now. There's a lot of new money in it from younger players, millennials, again, typically. And it's been, kind of enabled by the ease of just downloading an app.
And with this with this specific storyline for the retail investors, is it over? What is the sense that you're getting?
It does not look like it's over yet. I mean, again, glad that we shed light on it yesterday on the show, but it's still playing out. There's still a lot of back and forth. I think there's still a lot of trades that want to happen in these names that have been temporarily suspended by various different financial intermediaries. So I think you have both sides that still want to see more action in these names, and I think it's going to continue to play out over the coming days.
And Dave, I'd like to ask one more question. Apologies.
He had Portnoy on the mic.
I did. When you short a stock, is there a date where you have to either pay back the stock or return it or whatnot? Is there a certain date where there's a timeline where you either have sold it and made your money, or you either buy the stock on your own and take the loss? Is there like an end date and like a timeline for that for companies, just in general, when you're shorting a stock in general?
In general, no. You can continue to hold the short as long as you would like. There are charges associated with that, and sometimes those charges are changing daily, and it can get very expensive to hold a short. But in general, you can hold a short for as long as you would like.
Yeah, a lot of the media has said sort of like, oh, the market is in turmoil now. Some people have said, no, that's not the case. It's just the hedge fund managers and these specific billionaires who are doing these sort of shorts on a daily basis. What is the impact of this? Can you give it a percentage compared to the rest of the entire market?
So this trading name, or some of the trading names, are very small. They maybe were less than $1 billion in market cap. So the value of the company was like measured at less than being worth $1 billion. And, to see, for instance, GameStop go up to as much as $20 billion recently, through the price of its equity increasing, you can kind of get some idea, but to gauge it against others, like GM is a $70 billion company. And you have companies out there like Facebook and Apple that are in the trillions. Right? Like
there was never really any true value here to begin with, right? Because this is all just speculative.
Yeah, it's very small. I think what happens sometimes is that these hedge funds will make such big bets in these names. And so how it trickles down to the rest of the market is they'll have to sell other things that they were planning on maybe holding for a long time. Maybe they had Apple, maybe they had Facebook or Netflix as their kind of common holdings. And then, one of their position blows up, they need money, they have to start selling all these other positions. And then next thing you know, the whole market could start going down in some sense. It's happened before.
Wow.
So I think, Robert, you were in a frenzy yesterday.
Still am.
Are you still in a frenzy today? And Dan, would you suggest people to get in on this?
Well,
same advice as yesterday. I think, I would call these battleground stocks. Stocks that are going up and down 50% a day are not where you typically want to park your money. If you like to sleep at night, I like to sleep at night.
I work hard for my money.
And, I think I would rather invest in longer term kind of plays than tend to see something happen like that.
All right, Dan, Dogecoin, the next big thing. That's all I have to say. That's all.
Doge.
He doesn't even know the meme. I can't.
The little doggy. Yeah.
The Doge was born. All right, that Doge is probably older than Robert is. That dog.
That dog is over the Rainbow Bridge by now.
Multiple. It's probably been reincarnated in different forms.
Hey, Dan, before we let you go, there is an imminent storm coming into Los Angeles, and I know Orange County. You are now in Orange County, so we have to ask, is it raining where you are?
It's not raining in Irvine, and I got a nice window view here, but getting a little cloudy, but not raining yet.
All right.
All righty.
Dan Gastine, CFA. If you are interested in following him, he doesn't want you to, but you can find his handle at DynastyDan07.
So much for that. He posts. He does all posts yesterday. I think you did great, Dan. I think people should follow you.
Yeah, they should be proud.
Be a sound time in an uneasy, trying time. So thank you so much, Dan.